I'm Jillian, and I guess I'm spilling my guts here because I need to make sense of the last 2 years of my life. It's like waking up from a dream you thought was real, only to find out it was a carefully staged lie. I'm sitting in my kitchen in my apartment in Chicago, the kind with exposed brick walls and a view of the lake that I paid for. The coffee in my mug is cold, and I'm staring at the gold band on my left hand, wondering how I missed the truth. My husband, Ethan, never loved me. He was just here for the money. It started so beautifully, you know. I was 29, running my own graphic design firm that I'd built from late-night sketches in my college dorm. I wasn't rich, but I had a trust fund from my grandparents, enough to buy this place outright, keep my business afloat, and not sweat the small stuff. Ethan was a barista at the coffee shop I haunted during client meetings. He had this disheveled charm, dark curls falling into his eyes, a crooked smile that felt like it was just for me. He'd scribble little doodles on my to-go cups like cartoon dogs or goofy hearts. One day, he wrote, "You've got a killer smile, Jillian." I was hooked. We started dating, and it was like something out of a rom-com. He'd show up at my office with homemade sandwiches, insisting I take a break. We'd walk along the lakefront at dusk, the water glinting like it was in on our secret. He listened when I talked about my dreams, my fears, the pressure of keeping my business alive. I thought he got me. 6 months in, he moved into my apartment. A year later, he proposed on a snowy night in Millennium Park, down on one knee with a ring he said he'd saved up for. I cried, said yes, and believed I'd found my person. The wedding was small but perfect, string lights, wildflowers, my best friend Mia as maid of honor. Ethan's vows were poetry. Jillian, you're my home, my adventure, my everything. I felt like the luckiest woman alive, but looking back, there were cracks I didn't see, like how he never talked about his past, dodging questions about his family or why he'd bounced between jobs, or how he'd get quiet when I mentioned my finances, brushing it off with a laugh. I thought he was just private, maybe a little insecure about my success. I was so in love, I filled in the blanks with excuses. The first year of marriage was good, or so I thought. Ethan quit the coffee shop to find himself, which I supported. I mean, I had the means, right? He started talking about opening a craft brewery, and I was all in, helping him draft business plans, even wiring $20,000 to a consultant he swore was legit. He'd kiss me and say, "You're my rock, Gills." I ate it up, but the brewery never materialized. He'd spend days networking at bars, coming home smelling of whiskey, promising things were coming together. I trusted him. I wanted to believe in us. Then, the little things started piling up. He'd use my credit card for business expenses without asking. $500 here, $1,000 there. I'd find receipts for dinners I wasn't at, hotels I'd never seen. When I asked, he'd get defensive. "You think I'm mooching off you? I'm trying to build something for us." I'd back off, hating the tension. I didn't want to be the nagging wife, but it gnawed at me, this feeling that something was off. The real wake-up call came 6 months ago. I was cleaning out the guest room closet, looking for old tax documents, when I found a shoebox tucked behind a pile of blankets. Inside were bank statements, emails, and a notebook in Ethan's handwriting. My heart sank as I read. The statements showed a separate account in his name, one I didn't know about, with transfers from my account. Tens of thousands over the last year. The emails were worse. Messages to some guy named Derek. "She's got no clue, man. I'm set for life if I play this right." Another. "Once the brewery thing pans out, I'm out. She'll never see it coming." The notebook was a ledger, tracking every dollar he'd taken, labeled Jillian's contributions. Contributions. Like I was a fucking ATM. I sat on the floor, the papers scattered around me, feeling like the air had been sucked out of the room. My hands shook as I read those words again. She'll never see it coming. I wanted to scream, to cry, to burn the whole place down, but I just sat there, numb, replaying every moment of our marriage. The doodles on the cups, the proposal, the vows. Had it all been a lie? I thought about confronting him right then, but he was out, probably at some bar, spending my money. I needed proof, a plan, something to hold on to before I faced him. For weeks, I played the part of the clueless wife while I dug deeper. I hired a private investigator, a guy named Paul, who looked like he'd stepped out of a noir film. Gray beard, cheap suit, no nonsense. Paul tracked Ethan's movements, his accounts, his meetings. Turns out, Ethan wasn't just siphoning money. He was living a double life. He had an apartment in Wicker Park, rented under a fake name, where he'd meet up with women he'd charmed online. The brewery consultant was a buddy from high school who'd been cashing my checks and splitting the money with Ethan. Paul even found texts Ethan sent to Derek, joking about how Jillian's too busy with her artsy crap to notice. Every report from Paul was like a knife to the chest, but I kept going. I had to know how deep the betrayal went. I stopped sleeping, barely ate, just sat up at night staring at our wedding photos, trying to see the lie in Ethan's eyes. Mia noticed I was unraveling and dragged me out for coffee. "Jillian, you look like a ghost. What's going on?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. I broke down and told her everything, the shoebox, the PI, the texts. She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe, whispering, "You don't deserve this. We'll get through it." With Mia's help, I started planning my exit. I met with a lawyer, a sharp woman named Rachel, who specialized in divorce and fraud. She laid it out plain. Ethan had committed financial fraud and we could nail him for it. But I didn't just want him gone. I wanted him to feel the weight of what he'd done. Rachel suggested freezing our joint accounts and gathering evidence for a civil suit. I also wanted to protect my business, my apartment, everything I'd worked for. So I did it, transferred my assets to a trust, locked down my accounts, and had Paul serve Ethan with a restraining order to keep him away while I filed for divorce. The confrontation happened 3 weeks ago, and it's burned into my brain. Ethan came home late, reeking of bourbon, and found me at the kitchen table with the shoebox open. His face went pale, like he'd seen a ghost. "Gills, what's this?" he stammered, trying to play dumb. I didn't yell. I just slid the bank statements across the table and said, "You tell me, Ethan. Tell me why you've been stealing from me since the day we met." He tried to spin it, said it was a misunderstanding, that he was borrowing for the brewery, that he loved me, but his voice cracked, and I saw it, the panic of a man caught in his own web. "I know about the apartment," I said, my voice steady even though my heart was racing. "I know about Derek, the women, the lies. You never loved me. You loved my money." He just stood there, mouth opening and closing like a fish, no charming smile to save him. Finally, he snapped, "You think you're so perfect, Jillian? You made it easy, throwing your cash around, acting like you didn't need me." That hurt, I won't lie, but it also set me free. I looked at him, this man I'd shared my bed with, my dreams with, and felt nothing but pity. "Get out," I said. "You're done here." He grabbed a few things and left, muttering curses. The door slammed, and I sank to the floor, sobbing for the life I thought we had. Now I'm picking up the pieces. The divorce is in motion, and Rachel's building a case to recover what Ethan stole. Paul's still digging, making sure there's no loose ends. Mia's been my rock, sleeping over most nights, forcing me to eat her terrible cooking and laugh at dumb TikToks. I'm seeing a therapist, too, trying to untangle the guilt I feel for not seeing it sooner. How did I miss it? Was I too trusting, too desperate for love? I don't have answers yet, but I'm starting to forgive myself. The apartment feels different now, quieter, but mine. I've been painting again, big, messy canvases full of color and chaos, like I'm pouring out the pain. I sold the gold band last week, used the money to buy a new camera, and I've been wandering the city, capturing its raw edges. There's a photo I took yesterday of the lake at sunrise, all pink and gold, that feels like a promise. I'm still here. I'm still me. I don't know what's next, but I know I'm done letting anyone dim my light. Ethan took a lot, but he didn't take my heart, my fight, my ability to start over. If you're reading this, maybe you've been through something like it, a betrayal that makes you question everything. I'm here to say you'll survive it. You'll find your way back to yourself, one messy, painful, beautiful step at a time. I'm Jillian, and this is my story. Thanks for listening.